Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first of maybe many, or maybe the first of one. I don't know. For now, I'm going with the title Slice of Cake. It's just going to be me talking about random stuff, right? I said I'd give this a go, so I'm going to sit here and give it a go. It's very much an unedited slice of bull dinky. Am I trying to keep this family friendly? I don't know. These are all things we need to work out as we go. There's no intro. There's no jingle. This is it. I've got a cup of tea. I'm going to drink my cup of tea. And we're going to talk about things. That's the pitch. If that doesn't sound appealing to you, good luck to you. If it does, maybe you should get Netflix. Not sponsored by Netflix, by the way. It's been an interesting couple of weeks for me. I've been ill quite a lot, like bad colds. Like I normally get colds during the winter. I've always suffered from colds from a young age, and winter's never been a particularly fun time for me, even though I prefer winter weather, honestly. But yeah, just getting over a particularly bad cold, which is why the office has changed yet again, because I have a cold. I get bored while I have a cold. I sit here and I look around and go, what can I change when I feel better? And then I feel better and then I try it. I don't know if this has worked. There's still a few things I would really like to improve. But first of all, let's just go over what I've done already, I guess. Okay, so still sat at the same desk, although I have moved it away from the window, mainly because it was getting really cold. That's the main reason I did that. It's getting quite cold by that window. It's a good window, good plastic. I think it's double insulated window. It's got a curtain over it, but it was still fairly cold. So I moved myself away from the window. In doing that, I mean, it meaned. This is why I should edit this shit. I might come across sounding a little bit comfortable. And I just swore. So I think there goes the family friendly status. I think we've already worked that one out. Meant I had to move this table, one, because it would no longer fit to the side of this one along the wall, and two, because there's now room by the window to put this table here, and it makes this table infinitely more useful for me. I can just basically just turn this chair around, and I'm now using this other table, which is great. Board games, painting miniatures, whatever else I need to do, I can just do on this table. And honestly, it's good enough change by itself to make it worthwhile of putting all the effort into moving stuff yet again. The other thing I've done on the last change, the middle change where I had to move stuff out because my cat brought a rat in here, I kind of had the you can see one of the square units just behind me there now, my board games on it. I kind of had those right up against me. I think it looked good from a camera perspective, but it was not good from a usefulness perspective. And I kind of have to try and balance these things out. So I now have one over here, which is kind of storing all my booze. It's not just booze. It's not 8 cubes of booze. There's only 1 cube of booze. Some overflow board games, PC spare parts, important documents, cleaning stuff, all that kind of, nonsense. And then what else have I done? So yeah, what I also had is I had my monitor set up behind me. I had one of my monitors set up behind me. Like I've got the TV here now set up behind me. I moved to the bigger screen because, one, I think it looks better, and two, I had nowhere else to put that TV once I'd moved everything around, and I kind of dumped it there, and just so happened to be making sure once I plugged all my PC together, everything still worked, camera still worked, all that kind of stuff. And I just it was behind me, and I was like, I wonder if that would work as my second screen, like my second PC monitor's down there. For the logo, I mean, that's not a logo. That's just text saying piece of cake that blinks in and out because, I tried to throw something together in about 5 minutes. But, logos. And then when I'm live streaming, even though the camera portion is smaller, bits, subs, all that kind of stuff, thank you message comes up. And I've got some of the commands will, flash up in image as well as sounds now. In the back there, I think it works. I think it will work. It's going to stay there, but whether it becomes just a static image thing, or if I do more with the kind of Twitch command and possibly YouTube if YouTube goes any further, command stuff to put stuff in the back. Time will tell. We'll see how that goes. What I would like to be able to do when I'm doing videos like this, especially if I ever have topics, I didn't really have any topics today. In the future, there may be topics, but today is just kind of drink tea and chat. Speaking of which, I'm just going to have a sip of tea. Normally, that's where you would edit, but you know. Not my jam. Because it's tea. Stop it. What was I talking about? Yeah, so that's kind of why the TV is there. And I just kind of cleaned everything up. So I got my nose is still blocked. I cannot get my nose unblocked. I might have to buy one of those things that you kind of looks like a gravy boat with a long neck, and you just kind of swirl the water up into your sinuses. See if that helps, but I haven't got one of those yet. Also, I just realised that I'm looking like a teapot. I swear this is tea. So yeah, kind of did that, cleaned everything up, made myself a lot more desk space. I've managed to get my mixing desk off my main desk and onto a kind of smaller desk down here. Not the best solution, honestly. I'm wondering if I can get it on an arm at some point. So it's kind of sticking out here. But it works there. I don't really mess with the dials that often. I don't really use the sound pads. I'll be honest, the mixing board that I use, the Rodecaster Pro 2, is way overkill for how I use it. It could do a lot more. And if you're looking at trying to get a microphone, it's a great mixing board. And if you've got 4 microphones that you need to feed into a stream with independent mixes and then 2 PC channels, the PC sound channels are fantastic. I do use both of those. And then Bluetooth and sound pads, it's a wonderful piece of kit. For how I use it right now, it's extreme overkill. And they did come out of a smaller one. This was brought, my dad brought this for ill-fated and not long-lived podcast series that he wanted to do, which we did, but then he got bored because it didn't take off straight away and he wasn't earning millions of dollars. Why he would earn dollars, I don't know, because we live in the UK and then we'd want pounds, but that's fine. But, you know, it was my gain and I'm going to use it. It's a good piece of kit. And, you know, who knows, maybe in the future I'll have guests on or whatever. There'll be, you know, more use for me to use the functionality that is there. But yeah, like I said, they've got a smaller one, which is the Duo. So I think there's 2 mics and then all the USBs and sound pads and Bluetooths. Which I think is probably about right for streamers. It's a smaller size, so it's on your desk smaller. Not sponsored by Rode. But there you go. And so what I was saying with the TV is when I'm doing stuff like this, when I'm talking about the Rode Procaster, things like this, it'd be great if I could have images of it on the TV behind me, right? Either by getting my second camera connected to the second PC, so because this is OBS running projected for this. I don't really have anything I can press at the moment to kind of show you what the screen can do on the video, because it's all through StreamerBot and it's all based on commands at the moment. But, you know, it would be nice if I could like just kind of switch to things. I realize that what I'm trying to replicate is, you know, on like news broadcasts when you kind of have the news anchor and then there's the picture over the shoulder. I'm trying to replicate that, but rather than having, you know, because again, I could have just put a picture here, right, in OBS. Whoop. I don't have to put it on a second screen. In fact, that's probably more trouble than it's worth. But that's kind of what I'm thinking of. I like it, and I kind of want to do it. But yeah, you know, I was clean the office. I like this. I think it looks nice enough as a background now. I didn't like it when we were stuck in the corner. I didn't think that was a good background. The whiteboard is positioned there purely to hide, because I've got a fridge and a Ninja Foodie and stuff back there. And the whiteboard is pretty much there to hide that. It's also in a good spot for me to use. So that worked out well. And then other than that, disinfectant. Had a little bit of incomprehension while mixing the pine disinfectant. It was meant to be a 50 to what? I don't know. Which way did I get this wrong? I put in about 10 times more of the disinfectant than I was meant to the volume of water that I used. And this room, even though my nose is blocked, I could smell the fake pine fresh. Still can, just about. That was very fake pine fresh right there. It was not a good time. But, I've gone through everything, disinfected every surface, did the floor, just gave it a good clean. It just needed it. I'm not one of these people who feels, that you have to keep your spaces ridiculously clean. If I'm working, there will be stuff on this table, and as streams and videos go on, stuff will appear piled up on this table. Hopefully not blocking. The only thing that's going to stop that is the blocking the TV screen aspect. But there will be stuff on this table. There's already stuff on this table. It's just kind of over here. I've been painting some models. And then I just kind of shoved them out of the way a little bit. But at times, and again, I think when you're coming out of feeling ill, when you've actually been properly ill, not really able to do much, just kind of sitting there wrapped up in a blanket, feeling, kind of sorry for yourself. I'm a man, so small cold means I'm dying, right? That's the way that works. I just kind of wanted to, I was feeling better and just kind of wanted to get it done. So I did. I think it was a good idea. But as I was doing it, I was kind of just, cleaning stuff up. And I was like, what would I want to change about this setup? This idea is going to go on a very long-winded story, which is intertwined with many different things that have happened this weekend. Just so you're aware, get comfortable, have a sip of tea or coffee or soft drink, whatever kind of drink you choose, or no drink. I'm not telling you have to drink, unless this takes off and I get sponsored by someone. Then you will all have to drink whatever sponsors it. But I think that goes without saying. Yeah, I kind of like what do I want to change? What do I want to improve? So obviously, first of all, a second cam link or cheaper alternative. I haven't looked at the kind of USB HDMI camera interfaces for a while, but one for the second PC, so I can have a camera going into that TV, would be good. Fixing my office door outside of the office is outside. The office door does not close properly anymore since the storm. There's a massive gap at the bottom. Fixing that would probably be good at some point. That should probably be pretty high up on the list. New chair. This chair can no longer withstand the pressures of my robustness. My robustness? No, that's not what I mean. Rotundness. There you go. Basically, I'm saying it collapses under my fat ass. The gas piston, it hung on for a long time, but it can hang on no more. I've looked at the replacement gas pistons, ordered one. They wouldn't ship it over here. I don't know if that was a one-off, but I haven't tried again. And then I looked at replacement chairs, and I was like, oh, I don't remember this chair being that expensive. But then when I brought this chair, I had more money, so maybe it just didn't matter that much. I don't know. But new chair would be great, more comfortable chair. It now kind of sits a little bit too low for the desk I'm on, so it's very uncomfortable. For prolonged use, but we make do. It's comfortable enough. It's not a huge problem, but yes, I think replacement chair would be good. And then honestly, kind of with the setup, there's not really a lot I think I would want to add or change or really improve, which is for me, because I'm a fan of tech, and to be fair, if I had the money, I probably would upgrade the camera and the microphones and everything else just to try the technology out, right? Because I am a fan of tech and I really like using it. But that's a side tangent to what this story could already become. So, I was kind of thinking, what would I want to improve? What do I want to change? And I was kind of, physically around the office, not a lot. Would I like a new office? Yes. One that was easier to heat in the winter and cool in the summer would be great. One that wasn't located on the same property where I live would also be good, just because getting away at times is nice. But realistically, I'm in a fairly good spot here, right? It's away from the road. It's fairly quiet. It is isolated from the family, which helps. Um, Not that I have a family. I live with my dad. And one of my sisters lives in her own wing. But it does help when I'm in the house. I mean, my dad's a very demanding person anyway. But when I'm in the house, he's always yep, 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 shouting up the stairs, whatever. So it's good that I have the space so I can do this. Even though I would really like to fix my door. And, so I was like, okay, so what would I want to improve? Because what I know I'm not happy with the quality of the streaming content I'm putting out. I'm not happy with the quantity, let alone the quality of the writing content I'm putting out. And I just kind of, was thinking along these lines of how do I improve that? How do I get to a point where I want to, one, do this stuff, and two, start to enjoy it again. And this sent me back 15 years. 15 years is important. It's been 15 years since my mum died. And I don't think I truly realised until very recently how big of an impact that had on my life. I knew it had an impact. It was the thing that made me hate office work. Not because my office, the office I was in at the time were dicks about it. My mum got sick. They were very good about it. Any time off that I needed to take, hospital visits, whatever, they were very good about it. They were very kind about it. But I never really enjoyed the office environment anyway. This whole rat race, working for money so you can have money, so you can spend money, get in debt, so you have to work for money, has never really appealed to me. It's not how I want to live my life. And kind of that was a defining moment where I just kind of sat there. I spend, I mean, at that time it was probably 10, 12, 14-hour days, 6 days a week working for this place. I spent all this time just working, getting miserable so I can then buy things to make myself not miserable. But that means I no longer have money, so I have to keep on working, which makes me miserable. So I then have to buy things so I'm not so miserable. And I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And I kind of sat back and I was like, I've got money in the bank. At least I did then. I'm young. At least I was then. I can afford to take some risks. I've played my life relatively safe up until this point. I can afford to take some risks. And the first risk I took is I quit my job. Not the first job I've quit, but the first job that I've quit where I didn't really feel like I've reached the end of my term there. There was still stuff to fix. I like fixing things. I don't like a role where everything is going smoothly. I like there to be fires to be put out. That's how my mind works. I like to put out fires and then move on. I don't want to be doing the same thing again and again and again, which is intriguing why I've been streaming for 5 years and I still enjoy it. But anyway, left that job, 3 months notice. They were very good about it. It's very good. And then I didn't know what I wanted to do. I had no idea what I wanted to do. I kind of sat around. I moped for a bit. I started writing. I'd always written as kind of a hobby. I started thinking about writing as more of a job, trying to put books out there. Didn't go particularly well. My savings kept on going down, 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 down. At that point, I was still living in the family home. No, actually, I'd moved to the flat in town by then. And rent was due. I was running out of money. That is the time frame, for those interested and for those who know, where I started to write certain books for a certain company under a pen name that no one will ever know to make my rent payments. And didn't go particularly well. Was not a particularly good couple of years. Then I did move back into the house for a while. Found it incredibly suffocating. At that point, everybody was here, so that would be the only extra, 2 additions would have been my other sister and my nephew. having the nephew around was great. He was a cheeky little bastard, still is. Not so little anymore. He's like 6'4" or something. But I found the whole thing kind of suffocating, which is when I moved off island for a little bit. Lived in my van, worked in a butcher shop, cash in hand. Then I honestly don't remember how it started, but somehow I got linked into a camera company that used to record just shows. It was more road shows, like Antiques Roadshow, Bargain Hunt, all these kind of things. This is what they used to record. And I got mixed up with them. And then for a while started my own camera thing, which went well. But then stuff back at home started to fall apart. So I gave that up, moved back home. And then I started to write, or had I already written it at that stage? But anyway, there was a TV show that I'd written. So, I've been writing during that time. There's a TV show that I'd written, which had been picked up and was to be recorded. I kind of moved back, went back into the finance industry to get some money under my belt. While I was waiting for this to be picked up, left that job. Went out to get it recording. I think it was 6 weeks, maybe 7 weeks. May not have even been that long. I honestly can't remember now, but it was like being there. So I helped, one, because I just wanted to be around to see what it was all like. Like, writers don't normally get involved, but my first one, I wanted to see what it was all about. So they let me go across as kind of a producer, kind of manual labor type thing. So kind of went across. Everything that could go wrong did go wrong. But God damn it, we did 6 good episodes of what I think is good TV, which no one will ever see. Well, that's not quite true. You might see it. There are things going on. But due to certain things that happened with the director and one of the stars and the penchant of sweeping dirt under the rug that was prevalent at the time, it was decided, not by me, not by anybody else involved at my kind of level, never admit the show existed, stick the footage in a vault, and then forget about it, which I didn't like. I spent a lot of time. And I fought that quite a lot, and that got me into trouble with, quite a few people and organizations, which I think brings me to where I was when I started to stream. It was this is not the story I intended to tell. But it may all link together. But that's kind of where I started to stream. So I was back home. I don't think the fallout had happened yet. I think I just finished recording it. I was back home, didn't know what I wanted to do again. Didn't want to go back into the finance industry, so I was just kind of sat. I had my computer. We had decent-ish internet at the time, just enough to try it. I was watching a streamer fairly regularly at that time to pass the time. I was like, I'll give it a go. I tried it before as more of kind of a technical test, but I hadn't really tried it as a kind of is this something I could do kind of idea. So I gave it a go. It was a disaster. I didn't like it. Didn't like the process. Didn't like the playing the game while trying to talk to people who weren't there. Didn't like it. Gave it 2 weeks. Tried it again. Loved it. Don't know what changed in those 2 weeks, honestly, but loved it. Just enjoyed playing through a game, talking to myself. People started to turn up, talking to them, and it was great. And I have enjoyed that process by and large. There have been a few wobbles. There have been a few times where I just didn't want to do it anymore. There are a few times where people can just come into chat and really disrupt it and kind of sour the mood. And it's one of those things where, at least for me, by and large, I've enjoyed it, and I still enjoy it, and I still want to do it. But what I've come to realize recently is that I'm not really playing games I enjoy. I'm streaming games just to put a stream on. You know, I've kind of said to myself, I will stream minimum 5 days a week. And I want to keep on doing that because by and large I enjoy it. But when you get to the point where you're just streaming because you feel you have to stream, I honestly feel it loses something from a streamer point of view and from a stream Is that what you call a stream viewer? Probably not, right? But for now, they're streamies. Streamies sounds like some terrible awards for streamers. I hope they don't exist, and I hope they never exist. But if they do, I want to win one. But don't know where that came from. Yeah, you know, you kind of get to the point where, okay, I'm streaming a lot of Overwatch 2, and I don't really enjoy playing Overwatch 2. I don't want to do it. I just don't want to do it. I don't like Overwatch 2. I don't like Blizzard as a company. I'm intrigued to see where they go now that they can't blame Activision for making them evil. I don't believe it was 100% Activision. I think Blizzard are quite capable of being evil bastards by themselves. And I think a lot of their games decisions had nothing to do with Activision input whatsoever. But we'll see, right? They're under Microsoft now. Microsoft, again, aren't angels. But maybe Blizzard will make a comeback into a company that's not all about money. Even though with the next World of Warcraft expansion, you can get early access to an online subscription paid-based game by paying $19 for the really good, expensive edition. Which sounds great for a game like that, right? No, it doesn't. It's absolute bullshit. But on the other side of that, they have made the base edition of the new World of Warcraft expansion more appealing. So swings and roundabouts, I don't know. I still think it's a dumb move. I also don't like the fact they've announced 3 expansions in one go because honestly, they sound like they've already said it's a story that is 3 expansions long. One's going to flow into the next. If that's anything like Diablo 4 and how badly they ended their story with Lilith, and then they've announced an expansion that has nothing to do with that, it would appear. I don't know, but the thing that worries me most is that they're going to try and go for this yearly expansion turnaround, which means you'll get less content per expansion, but they're going to be the same price, and probably less patches. And kind of part of what the story they kind of elaborated with these expansions, to me, some of them felt like, well, this should be patch. You know, they're normally very good at putting in 3 or 4 story patches. And are they just now stretching this content, or are they really going to give us free, really good? Am I meant to take this as the with the enthusiasm they're trying to sell it to me? We're going to make free, really good expansions because we know Shadowlands was absolute bullshit. Dragonflight was better, but you know we've got to basically cut away from old World of Warcraft. This is new World of Warcraft. Lich King, all that bullshit. Go play Classic. He's gone. He's done. Right? This is new World of Warcraft. And I'll be intrigued to know. I know with my cynical view where I'm landing on that. But anyway, that's kind of beside the point, and I kind of forgot where I got in the story. I was talking about Overwatch 2 and how I don't want to stream it. And then I got to Blizzard as a whole and how I don't trust them. The old train has come back. Hasn't helped me get back on track, but I do at least now know how we got to this diverted station. So I'm not streaming games I want to stream. I'm streaming because I feel I have to, and I've never wanted to get to that point. It's to me, as soon as you kind of jump that shark of streaming because you feel you have to, it's going to drag on you. Your enthusiasm is going to go. Your energy is going to go. And I don't have a lot of energy to begin with. Luckily, for the next little while, we have some games I'm hoping I'm going to enjoy. We've got RoboCop to play through. We've got Cyberpunk to play through. We've got Borderlands 3 to play through. We've got Modern Warfare 3 to give a go. Hopefully some of these games will stick and we can find some other games in the meantime. You know, Satisfactory will hopefully put in some updates. We'll have to start going back, and I'll have to go back to those old the other games like Forever Skies has had updates. Planet Crafter has had updates since I've last played it. I think for me to make streams more appealing, I have to stop. And I'll be honest, I've been fairly lazy when it comes to streaming recently. I'd roll up to my desk about 15 minutes before I have to start streaming. I panic. What do I stream? I load up Overwatch 2. Everybody has well, I don't want to say a bad time, but I think we could do better. So from my point of view, I've got to put energy in. I've got to try and think what I want to play. Dive into it, have a good time. Or if it's bad, rip the shit out of it, but also have a good time. But then that also got me thinking on to a very different conversation I was having with my family. So the nephew, I've mentioned before, is getting to the age now where, in the UK at least, you have to start thinking about applying to university. And the deadline for his submission is December. I don't know if it's the start or the end of December, honestly, but it's sometime in December. And my dad and my sister, who is the mother of the nephew, cornered me, almost literally, because they've obviously been trying to... See, I think in their mind, they're trying to encourage and build up and, put thoughts into the mind. But what they're doing is lecturing. They've obviously been lecturing, and I think on my sister's part, shouting at my nephew about, oh my God, if you don't do this, you're going to die. You're going to be a bum on the street giving hand jobs so you can buy a PlayStation 6, right? I think that's the world they're trying to paint. If you don't go to university, if you don't get this done, if you don't do this right, your life is over. It's going to be awful. It's going to be terrible. So they cornered me because they still believe the nephew listens to me, which really isn't true anymore. And two, they want to make sure I'm on the same page, because I'm a loose cannon. I'm wild. I'm clearly I'm like Mel Gibson in Lethal Weapon. I think we can all see how true that statement is. But yeah, they kind of cornered me because they want me to have a talk with the nephew to stress how important all this stuff is. And they were kind of, prepping me, this is what you need to say. These are the words that need to come out of your mouth and hit his ears. No more, no less. And I was just kind of smiling and nodding because I just wanted to get away, honestly. Dramatic pause for a sip of tea. I just wanted to get away, really. So I was smiling and nodding, and then I kind of got away, and then kind of came back, and I was scrubbing. That looks really dodgy. It looks like I've got a shake weight. Or again, I'm doing what the nephew will have to do if he doesn't go to university to get a PlayStation 6. But I was scrubbing the floors, breathing in heavily fake pine-scented disinfectant. And I kind of I was thinking about what they said. It was kind of rattling around the big empty brain. And I was like, okay, is this not just manipulation? Is this not just what the Emperor did to poor Anakin Skywalker? Right? Am my family the Sith? I'm not saying I'm a Jedi, because I would probably go Sith as well. But I was like, this is horrible for so many reasons, right? One, this kid is still in school. He has no idea what the real world is like. I'm 40. I still have no idea what the real world is like. I still have no idea what I want to do in my life, right? And yet you're saying to this poor kid, decide now, right? And if you don't do it right, you're fucked. Who came up with that idea, right? That's bloody terrible. And then even worse is the fact that, clearly I don't even know which way my nephew wants to go because I haven't spoken to him yet. I've kind of put a message saying, look, they want me to lecture you about this, but I won't. But if you want to talk about it, feel free. And if he wants to talk about it, then great. If he doesn't, that's his choice as far as I'm concerned, right? But, I'm assuming he wants to go this way. And, the council, who is his mother and my dad, have decided that he should go this way, and I'm meant to now be a signpost which says you need to go that way. But I was like, how terrible is this? One, the family putting all this pressure on him. He hasn't even done the exams yet. He's getting ready to do the exams, but now he's got this extra bit of pressure. As far as I can tell, in the nephew sister household, there's constant fighting, or they just don't speak to each other and ignore each other at the moment. So I think it's got quite frosty over there. I just don't like. I understand that you want the best for. Yeah, I want the best for my nephew. Of course I do. But I also understand that he has no idea what he wants to do, and I completely get that. And my advice, and take it for what you will. I'm 40 years old, living in a shed that's attached to my dad's house. So take this advice for what it is and what it's worth. But my advice is always, if you don't know what you want to do, don't close your options, right? Yes, he should apply to university. Yes, he should apply to the courses that he wants to do, even if he's not likely to get the grades. I don't know what his grades are. I don't know where that all fits in. But, he should also apply to... Although, again, the way the university application process works, if you apply all over the shop, that looks bad on you, which makes no sense to me. It's like, well, I want to keep my options open. I'll apply to be an engineer because I'm quite good at that. I'll apply for creative writing because I'm quite good at that, and I'll see what comes in. Apparently, that's a bad idea. Because you have to know what you want to do. You got to be laser focused. Fuck that. Although if you are laser focused, you may not end up living in a shed attached to your dad's house at age 40. So maybe there is a reason for this. I don't know. But yeah, they kind of wanted me to start to manipulate my nephew. I was like, I don't want to manipulate anybody, right? I have not lived a great life. I'm not in a great position in life, but I've enjoyed myself by and large. And that makes me happy. And I think that's important. I understand the value of money. I understand the precarious situation I'm in right now. It's going to be very hard for me to get to a point where I have a pension. So I'm probably going to have to work till the day I die. But given my genes, that may not be very long. But, I understand. And I also understand that, which is something my sister, the mother of the nephew, doesn't understand, is there's nothing really that drives me, and sadly, this is a trait my nephew's picked up. There's nothing really that drives me to do anything. This is a weird concept. I'm not saying I'm lazy because I don't believe I am. Okay, I've got lazier recently, and I fully accept that. But I'm not a lazy person. I like to work. I enjoy working. But I'm not driven by anything to kind of seek that work out. Money doesn't drive me. Yes, I'd like to buy new cameras. Yes, I'd like to fix my door. But this camera works fine. The door keeps 99.9% of the rain out. Maybe 95% of the rain out. So it all works, right? And I'm not driven to, go and earn some extra money so I can get my door fixed. When the door breaks, I will probably sell something and buy a door. But no, it's this idea that, and I just wonder how many UK parents, US parents, because I'm sure the university or college or whatever it is you call your higher education process, wherever you are over the world, is you're putting all this pressure on these poor little kids. Okay, he's 17, he's not a little kid anymore, but really, I remember how fragile I was at 17. I remember the pressure that was put on me, and what did I end up doing? I didn't go to university. I left school and I slept on a sofa watching Powerpuff Girls for 3 months before I was forced to get a job. It was a good 3 months. Not going to lie. God bless you, Cartoon Network. I feel like I need a conclusion for this story, so it doesn't seem quite so much old man yells at clouds. But I don't really know where we started, and I don't really know where it's going to end. Well, no, I do. It comes to the fact that, like I said, I'm willing to talk to my nephew. I'm willing to offer advice. But I'm not there, and I don't think anybody should be there to try and put pressure and force people down a path that they don't want to do, right? Enjoying your life is important, right? I think it's the most important. Yes, we live in a capitalist society where you need money to do anything. I get that. But money is not everything. And I just think it's the wrong way to go, is try and force people into, you need money so you can be comfortable. Okay, but are you happy? And I think if something in your life has got to make you happy, right? I actually kind of want to talk to my nephew about this because I kind of want to see where he wants to go and kind of where this diverge is coming from. I probably will. Probably end up speaking to him this evening. But it was just a weird thing, kind of, this juxtaposition, I guess, of here I am, 40 years old, with no idea of what I want to do, and trying to think about, what do I do next? How do I make streams more appealing? Do I sit in front of a camera and just waffle on for 30, 40, 50 minutes? I have no idea how long this is, by the way. And put it out there, because will that be good? Will that be fun? Will people enjoy it? I don't know. Will I enjoy doing it? I don't know. And then, this poor 17-year-old just having all of this extra pressure put onto him to decide your life now. And I just kind of why, right? Why don't you just let them leave school, let them work for 3 years so they get a taste of the real life, taste of money, taste of maybe what they want to do, and then see if they want to go off to university, right? Why does it have to be right now? We're going to end on a tangent. And this tangent, kind of about manipulation and forcing people to kind of go down a road that you don't want to go. It's about Christmas decorations, right? I like Christmas decorations. I like a National Lampoon-style house decked out with lights and reindeer and all the other kind of accoutrement, right? It's about one of the few things I do like about Christmas, if I'm honest. I think Christmas is a fairly terrible time, full of people trying to force you to be happy, and I don't think anyone should force you to be happy. If you like Christmas, if you don't like Christmas, and that should be the end of it, right? But it's November. I think it's the 12th today. I don't know why I said I think. I just looked at the bottom of my screen and it clearly says 12th of November. It's the 12th today as I'm recording this. People are already putting their decorations up. People have already bought Christmas trees. I don't like that. But more power to the people that do. But it's too goddamn early. And the longer you try to stretch this faux jolliness that is Christmas or the holiday season, right, used to start, well, I don't know. I think when I was growing up, we didn't really get into the Christmas spirit until school broke up, right? Which I think was about a week before Christmas. Maybe even a couple of days, honestly. And that was kind of fine, right? And as kids, it worked out well because you're on holiday, you can relax, do what you want. You can go sniffing around for the presents that your parents might have brought you. And it kind of made sense. But this idea that Christmas starts in November and has to last basically 2 full months now, how much further are they going to try and push it? And it doesn't even last till Christmas, right? You've got the 12 days of Christmas after Christmas Day going into January. So are we already where we're meant to be 3 months of being jolly? Fuck you. I can maybe do it for Christmas Eve and Christmas. And that's if there's food and booze, right? Anything else, no. No. Stop lying to yourself. Winter is miserable. It's raining. It's windy. You still got to go to work. And then at some point, you're going to have to suffer for a family meal. Hopefully a well-cooked turkey. That I definitely should have edited out, but I bet I didn't. Maybe a well-cooked turkey, but more often than not, something that's dry as tinder, and you have to smother it in gravy, and that's if they've remembered the gravy. Or if you're like me a couple of years ago, you're not really over COVID, but you've been forced out of your sick house up to somebody else's house, almost dying, and you have to cook the meal because, why not? That makes sense, right? That's probably a good enough side tangent. If you asked me to recap what I said in this video, I couldn't do it. That's probably a bad sign. But anyway, have a wonderful rest of your day where you are. Do not put your Christmas decorations up yet. It's too early. Don't put pressure onto any kids who are trying to apply to university and figure out what they're trying to do with their lives. And fix your doors. There's 3 good points to end this video on. Bye for now.